I am pleased to invite to the dais Dr. Christian Kaunert, Jean Monnet Chair, Director of the Jean Monnet Center of Excellence and Director of the Jean Monnet Network on EU Counter-Terrorism from Ireland. And Monnet and Dr. Kaunert is indeed the Jean Monnet Chair and the Director of the Jean Monnet Center of Excellence and the Director of the Jean Monnet Network on EU Counter-Terrorism. He is a leading academic in international security with teaching experience in China, Spain, Egypt, Italy, and Ireland. Dr. Kaunert held multiple key professional roles, including at Dublin City University and the University of South Wales, where he serves as the Director of International Center for Policing and Security. He has obtained several prestigious awards and fellowships and serves on the editorial boards of various academic journals. Top of the afternoon to you. Welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the warm introduction. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here. I want to thank, first and foremost, Professor Boas-Ganoa for having me, for inviting me. It's such a great pleasure to be back here in Israel with friends. So thank you so much for having me today. 3 years ago, we were awarded a prestigious grant that you kindly introduced, the Jean Monnet Network on EU Counter-Terrorism, EUCTER. We were awarded 3 years ago, and Reichmann University was one of our key partners. We had altogether 14 partner institutions in 9 different countries. We did a lot of good work. We organized a number of conferences, notably also here. We were in the United Kingdom, in Spain, in Italy, in a number of European countries. And I think we did a great collaboration. So in that sense, I'm particularly pleased to have the honor to announce that just a couple of weeks ago, we were awarded a Horizon Europe research grant under the Doctoral Network Program. It's called EU GLOCTER, EU Global Counter-Terrorism. So I'm very, very pleased to announce that. It's, in a sense, a continuation of the great collaboration that we've already been doing for the last 3 years. But it is an enhanced cooperation, if you like, because we now have a really excellent, a star team on the field, if you will. We have 9 excellent key partner institutions. Again, Reichmann is one of our prime partner institutions. Other partner institutions, just to give everybody a fair mention, is of course Dublin City University in Ireland, University of South Wales in the United Kingdom, Metropolitan University in Prague in the Czech Republic, the International Center for Counter-Terrorism in The Hague in the Netherlands, the Universidad de Juan Carlos in Madrid in Spain, the Jagiellonian University in Poland, the University of Leiden, and of course, I already mentioned Reichmann University and also the Egmont Institute in Belgium. So these are our main partners in terms of analyzing EU global counterterrorism. But indeed, we also have 16 associated partners. I apologize that I won't be mentioning every one of them, but altogether, we have a really strong team to analyze EU counterterrorism. Now, terrorism in Europe, of course, is one of the main security threats. Despite what is happening in Europe as well, we can clearly see, and I just compiled a couple of figures from the EU itself. Here, it's not an original figure, it comes from Europol's TSAT report. Just to give you some figures, in 2020, for instance, we had 57 completed, failed, or foiled terrorist attacks. In 2020, we also had 449 arrests on suspicion of terrorist offenses. And in 2021, we had 423 convictions for terrorist offenses. But what is really outstanding here in terms of damage and suffering is, of course, if we look at a number of the terror attacks, just to give you an example of one of the important ones inside the EU, of course, the Paris attacks of November 2015, where we had 130 dead and 350 wounded. But the economic figures of terrorism are really, they are staggering. The EU estimates that between 2004 and 2018, we had 185 billion euros of lost GDP. This is only lost GDP. And in addition to that lost GDP, we had 5.6 billion in lost lives, injuries, and damages to infrastructure. So these are really staggering figures that underline the importance of doing this type of research. What we aim to do is, of course, looking at the role of EU counterterrorism, looking at, in a sense, how now that the EU started building its counterterrorism role, it started building its institutions, it started building its agencies. Of course, Europol is at the forefront of some of those agencies. We have a number of other very, very important developments here. One thing that is also very important, that's what the project really focuses on, that is the foreign policy and geopolitical concerns in relation to counterterrorism. Because, of course, in order to better understand and in order to evaluate counterterrorism policy in the EU and that of its member states, it is necessary to apprehend that particular terrorist threat. What we want to do is to create an elite, a global network academy of doctoral candidates that are really bringing forward the entire field so that Europe is able to much better tackle this particular terrorist threat, hand in hand with countries such as Israel that are really key partners. And I think my time is coming to an end, so I don't want to spend too much time dwelling on this, but just to mention that this is meant to be a real key innovative change in the research of counterterrorism. This is, over the next 4 years, going to advance the research agenda. This is going to create really key academics that are going to drive the field. And I look forward to create this new academic world with you, with our partners, with all the distinguished guests that we have here. And I look forward to working with you all. Thank you very much.